Mr. Inch Your Progress, what are you doing today? Well, today I'm installing this digital door lock for a client that has an Airbnb. And the front door to the Airbnb is actually a vinyl sliding glass door. Now, I looked around and I couldn't find any electronic digital entry pads or mechanisms. So I found this mechanical mechanism that I'll put on here, meaning it doesn't have any electronics. They call it a digital pad, but really it's just a mechanical pad. So no electronics. And this is kind of what it looks like. And these are the components. That's the inside component right there. And you see I've got a strike and a latch that has to be mounted with it. And the best thing to do is pair them together and make your marks before you get started on the inside, before you get started drilling your holes. It's fairly straightforward. They provide you with this template so you can place on the door. And that's what I did. I put the template on the door and I started drilling my holes. After you get the holes drilled, then you can move on to the next phase of the application or the installation process, which is mounting the strike and making sure the strike and the actual mechanism line up. So for this one, I had to do some modifications just to get the strike in there. Like I said, this is a older vinyl door, so I knew I was going to have to modify it. And this is kind of how I went about the modification to cut in a place for the strike. The next phase was preparing the mechanism itself for the orientation of the door. And so this is a left-hand sliding door, and I had to open up the mechanism and replace or put the pin in the opposite place, which would give it the ability to be a left-hand operating mechanism. And this is what I did. It was kind of hard because the screws were small and all of the parts in the internal mechanism are small, but I eventually got it and got myself a pair of tweezers and pulled out the orientation pin. As you can see right there, I'll show you, those are the two screws, but there's the orientation pin on the left and I have to move it to the right. So I got my tweezers and I begin the operation procedure. After changing the orientation and making sure that the strike plate would work, I went ahead and put on the mechanism. So you got the internal side and then you have the external side, and it's held together by two different screws. The strike plate modification gave me a little bit of difficulty, but not a high degree of difficulty. I just had to add a spacer, drill some holes, and then attach the strike plate. And that's just what I did. And so once again, after you get the internal component mounted, the external component mounted, and you see I did a modified strike plate, everything works and the door is good to go. I will make some cosmetic improvements on the strike plate by painting the piece of wood black. But other than that, that's it. That's how it goes. And remember, if I can do this, you can do it too.